Hey, remote learners, this is Dr. Shivers. It's story time. And this week I am joined by one of my friends. Her name is Tracy Emery, and she works at a place called the Fit Closet. The Fit Closet was the recipient of the donations that you brought to our supply drive this week.
Yay!
And it was so awesome. You had two huge carloads with all kinds of donations that you shared. So, Tracy, tell us about the Fit Closet. How is it involved with community support, and why is service learning important?
Yeah, so the Fit Closet exists within the school district to serve families who are struggling with poverty. So we provide things like clothing and hygiene products like shampoo and toothbrushes, shoes and winter coats. And we can provide that because of the generosity of people like you and your families who filled Lucas's car with all that amazing stuff, so that our families can come here and shop for zero cost.
So awesome. We're so
It's
glad to be
amazing.
able to offer this opportunity for those that are in our community that need that help. So, is there
Hmm.
one or two just highlights or stories that you'd share with us, Tracy, of individuals
Yeah.
who have been able to be blessed and have benefited from the generosity of this project?
So just this morning, actually, we were going through the last remaining donations that had come in last week. And to our delight, it was a box full of brand new winter coats. And one of the moms who came in this morning was specifically here today looking for a coat for herself. And she walked out with a brand new coat. She was so over the moon excited. That's just one of the really fun, cool things that I, as the coordinator here, get to see at least once or twice every single day. I get to watch the generosity of our community and the way that people care for each other, and share with one another to meet needs that are sometimes difficult when you're struggling to make ends meet in your house and fill the cupboards with groceries and your closets with clothes. And so it's just a beautiful thing to watch, people come together and support each other.
I love
Um,
that.
Another story is school supply season. Always exciting at the Fit Closet. We are part of an organizational team of people that do an event called Stuff the Bus, where we literally stuff an entire school bus full of school supplies. And then we get to give those out to students at the beginning of the school year. One of my favorite seasons of the year.
Yeah, so great. Here's a quick picture, as some of our students saw, of just one of the loads that was donated. And
That
so
is
we're
so
just so
amazing.
grateful to be able to share all that with you, Tracy. Thanks for passing it along to all of those that are in our community to keep them warm and
Yeah.
keep them going. So today we're going to paraphrase and kind of share the story of one called The Rag Coat. We don't want to take up the full amount of time that it would take to read this. So we'd encourage you to find it at the library, or you can read it in your classroom. But this is a book by Lauren Mills, and this is a really great book. So Tracy, will you take it away and kind of share the
Yeah.
story of this one? Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Dr. Shivers shared the front cover of the book, and like he said, I'm going to paraphrase. So I'm not going to read every single word in the book, or we would be here for a little longer than would be expected. So I'm going to just get to tell you my version of the story. So the main character in the story is a little girl named Minna, and she lives in a coal mining town quite a long time ago, as you can tell by the pictures in the book. So snowy day, and they're going to the store to purchase some groceries, and Minna does not have a coat. So her dad bundles her up in what used to be known as a feed sack. So what children, or what cattle and sheep and things would eat while they are out in the cold. And so imagine not having a winter coat, but being bundled up in something that had cow feed in it. So they're nice and warm in their sleigh, but Mina really, really, really wants to go to school, but she can't because she doesn't have a coat that would keep her warm on those winter days. So her dad and mom talk about it and decide that they can maybe scrape together enough to find a coat, but it might be a stretch. So dad is wrapped in, I don't know if you can see these pictures, it's a little hard on Zoom with my camera.
You look great.
That's Minna and her dad. He's sitting in his lap. And the reason he's at home on this particular day is because he's gotten very ill. And he's wrapped in a beautiful quilt that Minna's mom has made. But he falls very ill, like I said, and sadly, he passes away. And Minna and her brother Clemmy are very sad. In this picture, you can see they're little tiny people surrounded by women in black skirts, which tells me that they are in mourning. The color black in the clothing is symbolic of that. So Minna is very sad now because she's wondering, with my dad gone, there's no job, there's no money. How will I ever get a coat? Her mom mentions this to her friends while they are making yet another quilt. And they come up with this beautiful idea to make a coat for Minna from all of the scraps from their quilts. Minna is overjoyed. She's getting measured for her coat, and they're making this beautiful coat of lots of different colors of fabric. And then one glorious day, Minna gets to go to school in her new coat. Let me turn the page here. I'm having trouble finding my picture. Okay, so there is a picture of Minna's very colorful coat. And she's so excited to share the stories that are associated with every square of color in that coat. But all of the kids in school decide that's a funny looking coat, and they make terrible fun of her. Minna runs away into the woods and sits on a log, very sad because she's afraid she's not going to be able to go back to school. But then she remembers something that her dad used to say to her. People need people. Don't forget that. So she looks down at the squares and different shapes of color on her coat and remembers that each one of them has a story. And what's fun is that a lot of the children in her class have a piece of fabric that used to be theirs that's now part of her coat. So she goes back to school and she walks in with her head held high and gets to talk to her friends in her classroom about the different pieces of fabric and the different stories that they tell. And each of the kids is so excited to see a piece of their baby blanket that they thought they'd never see again, or a dress that they got from their great aunt that was special to them but they'd outgrown, now a part of Minna's coat and keeping her very warm. And Minna remembers that people need each other. And so the reason I picked this book to talk with all of you and to share with you is because the Fit Closet serves people who need other people to help them out in a tough time. So that is the story of the rag coat in Tracy Emery's words, not Lauren Mills. But I thank you for letting me share that with you. I would encourage you to check it out at the library if you get a chance.
Tracy, that was perfect. Thank you so much. I love that main idea.
You're welcome.
People needing people. That is so true. And remote
Mhm.
learning, we see that every day in our classrooms with our scholars. We need our families. We need our teachers. We need community resources. It's just such a great network that we've been able to build. And we're so thankful that you're a part of it. So thank you again for being.
Thank you.
It was delightful. Thanks for sharing.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.